U.S. men's national team, they've got 2 friendlies during the October international window. First up is Ecuador this Friday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, and that's followed by Australia on October 14th at 9 p.m. Eastern. Now, one of the players called up by Mauricio Pochettino for this international window is Toulouse defender Mark McKenzie. So we are bringing him in now. He's out there in Austin for camp.
I think congratulations are in order. I hear you're a new dad recently.
I am. It's probably the most incredible feeling. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, she, her and the baby, they're doing great. Recovering really well back home. So yeah, most special moment of my life, hands down.
Well, how much more special does, I want to talk about the camp, obviously, and getting called in here, but how much more special does this become? And I say that seriously because every guy will tell you, every athlete will tell you, but man, women, it doesn't matter, right? You have a child, like all the perspective changes, right? If you don't get called into a camp like last camp, things don't hurt nearly as much, and they make it even sweeter when you get called back into a camp.
Absolutely. Now, I feel like I just have even more to play for. Even though he can't really hold his head up right now, he's not really watching, but he's,
he's watching.
In the future.
He's watching.
Yeah, when we look back on these moments, it's something that I'll cherish forever. And just to say that he's out there watching his daddy play is something that, I hold dear to my heart and gives me that extra push anytime I need it. So it's only been a week, but yeah, it makes me go even harder.
Tony, do you have any advice for him?
Yeah, these camps are great because you get to sleep at camp. Keep getting called in.
I won't lie. I will not lie. I mean, I enjoyed that sleep last night was really nice. As much work as my wife is putting in right now, and as many sleepless nights as we had last week, I wouldn't trade him in for anything. But I did enjoy that sleep.
Mark, as a member of the New Dad Club as well. Enjoy it, brother.
Congratulations.
Enjoy it, man.
Congratulations to you as well, brother.
Enjoy it, man.
Mark, into the camp now that you've had a little bit of rest to get ready for training. You guys play 2 good opponents in this window. What are you looking forward to, and what are you expecting from the challenges that these opponents will face?
Yeah, I think when you look at Ecuador, they're a team that has a track record of their own. They have quality players all over the pitch. Funny enough, I remember playing them back in the U20 World Cup, back when Tony was there with us, and now flash forward to be playing them again. I think it's something that I look forward to. A South American opponent who go head-to-head with any team. And then you look at Australia, who have a really good record at the moment and going through their World Cup qualification, have a lot of momentum. So I think these are 2 World Cup opponents that will give us different looks, different challenges, but ultimately it'll be on us to match that.
So we've seen Mauricio Pochettino play different systems, especially when it comes to the back line. Recently, we saw a back 3, and we've seen them play a back 4. You've been a part of that. As someone who plays a back 3 and has experience playing in a back 4, which system do you prefer, and what are some of the benefits of either system?
Yeah, I think, so when you look at a back 4, you're looking at now needing to have the ability to work on spacing, right? When you play with the back 4, your fullbacks have to adjust their heights in order to be accessible, depending on which formation the opponents play. In the back 4, defensively, you have to be able to slide and shift to cover those gaps, especially when you're trying to press in certain moments. Now, when you look at a back 5, I should say, you have to understand the timing of when to release, because many teams, if they do play with 3 attackers, they're going to try and play in those half spaces and figure out how to pull out one of the center backs and create the space for a late midfield run or a winger to move into a space of strikers vacated. So for me personally, I don't really have a preference, I'd say. I play in a back 5 in Toulouse now, but it's a free-flowing back 5, a bit more of a hybrid, where I have the freedom to kind of move into midfield at moments, to maybe go out as a fullback and our wing back moves inside to now give different looks to the opponent. But at the same time, with the back 4, you have 2 wingers who can play high and wide and really stretch the other team. So it's about ultimately how you play in the system and the energy that you put into it. right? Once you step on the pitch and the other team starts to give you different challenges, how are you adjusting on the fly?
How about playing on the left side of that back three in the back, right? You're a right-footed player. You're doing it, as you mentioned, at your club right now. By the way, congratulations, a big win against Tanner Tessman's side this weekend, right, playing in that. So I'm sure there'll be some good conversation at the dinner table. But just playing on that left side and how comfortable you've become there.
Yeah, it's something that I've trained for a while now, working on being both-footed, I guess you could say. But also the ability to play different passes. Back in Belgium, I work with one of the defenders coach on the different types of passes, whether it's a little chip curveball into the space for a striker running into, playing a deceptive pass that goes against the grain to be able to break high press. So, yeah, for me, it's something that I've trained a lot, something that I feel like I can bring to the table when needed. And ultimately, if I play there, I'm going to make the most of it.
So, yeah, speaking of making the most of it, you're back in this camp because of those performances, and a big kind of topic of conversation has been the communication preferences from the coaching staff with the locker room. So was there much conversations with Poch and his staff between missing camps or coming in, and what's it been like, I guess, since in the brief time? I know that you just got in last night, but in the brief time since you got back?
No, it's ultimately rekindling everything. We had a long summer together, so I think going through a tournament together, you figure out little nuances and ways to go about meeting with each other, ways to communicate with one another. So I think through these experiences of working with them over the last year, you figure out what works and what doesn't work, and naturally you build a connection. And sometimes it's more communication, sometimes it's less communication, but I think each player is different. But at the end of the day, work has to be done on the pitch. So whether you're in camp, whether you're not in camp, I think that speaks for itself. You just want to get back here into the team and do everything you can to put the jersey back on.
Now, I'm a firm believer that as a player, you're always blessed to have, if you have a manager or an assistant who played the position you played at the highest level, that's a big blessing. There's so much you can learn from. Your manager, Mauricio Pochettino, was an outstanding center back for both club and country. So what are some of the things you've learned from him during your tenure with the men's national team?
I think one of the biggest things is having and when I use the word arrogance, it's not a matter of being cocky or above anybody else, but when you step on the pitch, having that assertiveness, having that level of aggressiveness. We use a player like Guti Romero, who's at Tottenham. He's a player that Mauricio and I, we talk about often, but he's a balance of being, a nice guy off the pitch, very, very humble, quiet to himself, but as soon as you step on the pitch, you feel his presence. He has this aura about him, and any player goes against him is like, it's going to be a long day. So I think that is kind of an example of the players and the type of play that when Mauricio and I do sit together and we look at video, we look at matches, that's the kind of style that he wants me to step into and any player to step into. Because again, once you get on that pitch, it's about showcasing, doing everything you can to benefit the team and get the win.
Mark, I think we could all guess what team success looks like over the next, I'll say 4 games, if you will, the next 2 camps, right? What does success look like for Mark McKenzie coming out of this camp? Like, how will you measure this and sort of what would give you the grade that you want?
Ultimately, it's consistent, solid performances that show why I deserve to be in this team. I think consistency is something that is sometimes overlooked in this day and age, something that sometimes we tend to focus on the 10 out of 10 performances, but rather in the short term, instead of looking at maybe the 7.5, 8 out of 10 performances over the long term. So that for me is something that I want to continue to build on. And I think that the longevity of putting together strong, solid performances over a long period of time is where I'll be able to put myself and grade myself on.
Mark, continuing with assessments, we want to know, what was your assessment on Coach Tony Meola?
It was a loaded question. It was a loaded question. I'll give you guys. No, Tony, he's somebody who's passionate about the game, somebody who's going to tell you how it is, but still have that level of love and grace to put his arm around you, whether you play well or don't play well, and say, look, this is where we need to improve. But at the same time, these are strong points that you've done well with. So what work do we need to do on the training pitch in order to step out on that pitch and be even more prepared for the next match? But again, I think that level of love and grace is huge, and something that I've remembered to this day. I remember just conversations we had, whether it be at U18 camps, U20 camps, before games, after training sessions, just sitting on the grass, chopping it up together. I think having a guy like that on the coaching staff is huge, especially as a young player. And I'm very appreciative and grateful to have those experiences to call on anytime I think of Tony. So, yeah, that's my
Well, thanks. I will say this. There were two guys, 5.5 years with the youth national team, two guys that stick out to me that stayed every single training to work on passing. It was Mark McKenzie and Julian Araujo, who now plays for the Mexican national team. But he can tell you how many hours we spent after training working on the one thing that he thought he needed to get better at. I always appreciated that. I always loved doing it. And I would stay out there for hours. But I appreciate you, Mark, and the comments.
No, likewise, man, likewise.
Well, you know where he got it from, right, Tone? He went to Wake Forest, baby. That's right. That's right, man. Right out in the street. You know about Wake Forest. Now, Mark, we've asked you a ton of questions, but I just want to say from one Wake Forest brother to another, just good luck. It's good to see you back in the fold, and I know you're going to do your thing and make the country and your family and everyone proud.
No, I appreciate it, man, and I hope that's the case. I'm going to do everything I can to make sure I live up to that.